Hi, this is Camila from the Bliss Institute, and I'm going to be doing a review of the movie Annihilation, based on the book Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. So the first comments about this is that the book and the movie are very different. They are supposed to be presented differently. I have heard it said that the director has seen it as the movie is like a dream of the things that occurred in the book. I was honestly a little sad that there were some changes from the book to the movie because a lot of the plot points that I really liked in the book were not included in the movie. There were other issues that it covered and that it focused on, but I really enjoyed some of the different aspects that were excluded from the movie. The main character is Lena, who is a biologist, and she was in the army for 7 years, where she met her husband, who is known as Kane, and they live in this kind of very idyllic lifestyle and in their home, and they're rarely seen outside of the bedroom where they have most of their interactions, and so their relationship is presented to us in these snippets, in these frames of these very circumstantial discussions between them about God and about the relationship to each other and to the world around them, and the overall purpose of what life is, and why things happen the way that they do. And so we find Lena where, and this is a basic premise, so no spoilers, hopefully, yet. We find Lena where her husband has been gone and he reappears, and she's trying to figure out what's going on and why. And so then she takes this adventure into this space that's known as Area X, where this phenomenon has occurred where they're trying to figure out what's going on, and they're sending in different parties and groups to go and try to find out what's happening. And in this circumstance in which she goes in, she is with a group of all women, and they are trying to just find out what's happening. They're trying to gather samples and to explore and to reach the point in which they believe that this phenomenon began to occur, and that these different things, these different changes that are happening in this environment originated from. I would say overall, the movie is visually stunning. If you go for no other reason, go to see just the way that they use light and color and sound and kind of delve and meld all these different things together, which is, I'm sure, supposed to be a reference to one of the plot points in the movie about change and what does it mean to change and what happens when we change, and how we adapt to change and transformation. Do we fight it? Do we welcome it? Do we decide to do we break from it? Do we have a psychological break because of it? Do we are we annihilated because of it? So these different ways that all these different characters interact with this transformation that they are experiencing, and how we as a being, as humanity, change over time, and how we transform, and the different ways then that this on a larger scale, on a macro scale in society, how different groups interact and how different groups assimilate and adjust, and what they do in order to be able to survive. Like what length will you go to in order to be able to survive at the end of the day? So it's a really great analysis and taking a look at that. That is, of course, if you really want to delve in that deeply, if you want to kind of stay more surface level, then it's a fun movie that's taking a look at alien life and, what's going on, and supernatural, and are we in control of things? Is God playing, a role in our lives, and the different ways that we explain the world around us. So there's a lot of different interpretations in which I'm sure that people will want to take with this movie. The end is outstanding. Well, I would say probably the 10 minutes before the actual end of the movie. It's just absolutely beautiful, and you're sitting there trying to really follow along and see what's happening and who is doing what does this mean, and how does this apply to this overall longer journey and narrative that is Lena's, that is about confronting who she is and what she stands for and why she does what she does, and her relationship to her husband is really portrayed in this beautiful way at the very end. And it reminds me a bit, I'll say this of the story of the phoenix who rises from the ashes, and how sometimes change requires for us to destroy everything that is present around us in order for us to be able to grow and to be something different. And as we like to say sometimes, burn it down. You have to burn it down. And in some cases, that is the only way in which to free yourself from the confines of the space in which you originally find yourself in order to be able to grow and become something new. So I'm going to say that that's going to be my spoiler-free review. Beautiful. It's will challenge you if you want to have that type of experience, and if you just want to maybe see something that's fun and kind of interesting, I would definitely say it is that. There were some points that were a little slow, particularly towards the middle. There are some decisions that are made that you're kind of like, I don't understand, and they give explanation for it, meaning for why certain people do what they do, why people keep moving forward even when it's like, this doesn't make any sense to keep going forward. We should try to, go and put ourselves back together or regroup. So they give some explanation to that. I feel that the book had a stronger explanation, but the overall storyline is different in the book. In the movie, I felt like the explanation was a little bit more cliche, a little weaker, just because it was more of this obvious kind of ploy on like different issues and psychological things that affect us depending on where we are in our lives and the type of situations that we're experiencing. I did enjoy that there were some different ways of looking at how women were portrayed, and although it was kind of there were some instances where it was like, oh, it's gonna be a team of women. Oh, all the teams before were men. Okay, well now we're sending in a group of women. It was soldiers who were men, and now we're sending in a team of scientists who are women. And it's like, okay, well, that's nice. Even though it really didn't, it didn't really help them at all. From what I saw, really, it seemed like it didn't improve upon their chances or what was happening, or their understanding of what all was going on because they sent in this group. I feel like the explanation from the book is a better explanation of why they sent in a group of women, which I'll cover in the spoiler edition of this. I'll just leave it as that now. But yeah, some of their decisions didn't make a lot of sense. It was plausible because of the explanation that was eventually given, but initially you're just kind of like, why? And there is this repetitious question of, I don't know. Everyone's answer is, I don't know, which, of course, we want to understand. We want to know why, but there's just not a lot of exploration or other explanation that goes with it. And I'm sure that that's a part. It had a purpose, but eventually, you get the same answer 20 different times, and it's just like, okay, give us something, because in knowing how the story goes, there is a reason, there is an understanding of why, there is an actual answer that goes to all of these questions, and yet we're not exploring any of those even remotely. But I suppose that's behind the different storyline that is the purpose of this movie. But overall, I did enjoy it. I would say go and expect to spend some time and have some fun and enjoy yourselves. Let me know what you thought of the movie below. Thanks. Bye.